You are listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, where you'll learn step-by-step how to meet and seduce beautiful women. Whether you're looking for one night of fun, a week-long fling, or a long-term relationship. I'm your host, Trip, and the episode starts now. Hello and welcome to the How to Talk to Girls podcast. I'm your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. I think we have just crossed over 300 episodes on the How to Talk to Girls podcast. First episode came out December of 2014. So basically started at the beginning of 2015, which means that it's been going for 4 years. You know what's crazy about it is I actually feel like I just started this thing. That's the weird thing about it. I feel like this is new. I just feel like the podcast is new. It doesn't seem like something that's been around for a long time. I don't know why. I'm not sure. Maybe that's because I've done a lot of episodes, 300 to be exact. But maybe it's because I have my YouTube channel where I do a lot of videos there, and I have probably like 600 videos or 700 videos. And I've been doing that for 7 years now. I think about 7 years. August 2012 was when I put out my first video. So yeah, that's like almost 6.5, 7 years. Crazy. Time flies. As new as I thought this podcast was, it is not so new. And what's really cool too is, no one's ever asked me this, but I'll just kind of tell you about it anyways. Of how did I come up with the How to Talk to Girls podcast? Why is it called How to Talk to Girls? Well, obviously, a lot of the episodes are pertaining to the idea of talking to women in attraction. But the way I came up with it was actually because I looked at the time of creating the video, right? So the end of 2014, I looked at my YouTube videos and I thought, well, what is a really popular video? Like, what are guys wanting to learn? What are they searching? Because I wanted to title it something that I know guys would find. Because if I titled it the Trip Advice podcast, because, my company, the dating coaching company, is called Trip Advice. If I titled it that, no one would have any idea what that is. No one knows who Trip Kramer is unless you've really watched a lot of videos. But even so, most people don't know who Trip Kramer is. And Trip Advice sounds like it's trip advice, like actual advice on taking trips or going on vacations, which this is absolutely not anything about that. So I thought, well, we're not going to call it Trip Advice. Let's call it something else. So I looked at my highest viewed YouTube video, and at that time, it was How to Talk to Girls. That was the video that had the most views. And I thought, well, this is something guys are really wanting to learn, and they're searching it. So I ended up calling it How to Talk to Girls. And it's funny because I get on the phone with guys who are interested in doing coaching with me, and I say, oh, how did you find Trip Advice? They say, I found you through the podcast. And then they tell me the story of how they type into iTunes, maybe they even typed it into Google, like How to Talk to Girls, and then the podcast comes up. So some of you are actually searching for How to Talk to Girls, and boom, what a great fit. Here we are with this podcast helping you out. So I don't know, I think that's pretty cool. 300 episodes in, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Maybe at the 500th episode, we'll do something really special. But 300, going strong, ain't stopping, gonna keep this party going. How to Talk to Girls podcast. Here we are. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about what if you got an ugly girlfriend? What if you have a girlfriend you're not attracted to? What's the deal? What if you have a girlfriend that you were once attracted to but are not anymore? Interesting. Well, the reason why I came up with this topic is because we got an email from a guy named Jay, and I'm going to read his question in just a minute. You're going to be hearing about his situation where he's now in a relationship with a woman he's not attracted to anymore, which is a shame. And he's doing some shady stuff, which I'm not a big fan of. We'll be going over that as well. In just a second, we'll be talking all about that. If you don't already know, coaching is available. So if you're interested in getting coaching from me, you can do that by going to coachedbytrip.com. Coachedbytrip.com is the website where you will find an application to apply for coaching. I don't accept everyone into my coaching program because not everyone is a good fit. You just have to be over 18. That's the prerequisite. But I got to read your application and make sure that you're really serious about it. Because I've worked with clients in the past who aren't too serious about it. they kind of join coaching thinking it's like a magic solution, which, well, it is in a way a magical solution, but you still have to put in work, right? It's like if you go to a trainer at the gym, you got to still lift the weights, but I'm going to teach you how to do all of it properly and do it so you get fast results. So if you want to fast forward this part of your life and get a hot girlfriend versus an ugly girlfriend, and you want to really have a great dating life, well, coaching helps that. And within only a few months, you start to see amazing results like the clients I've been working with now. So if you want to apply, go to coachedbytrip.com and apply today. And I look through every application and I handpick who gets on a phone call with me. And then we figure out if we have a good fit for coaching. I ask you a few questions, get to know you. And then if I see you're a good fit, we talk about the programs and we can get you signed up. So coachedbytrip.com. If you're 18 or older, please fill out an application today. All right, let's get into today's question. Jay says, "Hi, Trip. I've been watching your videos for a while and found them to be very helpful. I even used your tips to help finesse my current girlfriend." Well, congratulations. You have used the information and have gotten results. That is awesome. We've been together just under a year. However, whilst at the beginning, I really found her hot. But now I'm beginning to find her less attractive. Sometimes when I meet her, I do not really feel like touching her sexually. Does this mean I should move on? Is this normal to happen after a certain period of time? Nonetheless, I do like talking to her as she is an honest, genuine person who really cares for me. Should it matter that I'm not sexually attracted to her in that case? And I also like the fact that I can trust her. She's not one of them girls who would mess around. But it's just accepting that I'm not sexually attracted to her is confusing me. Sometimes on occasions I start to message other girls or go on dating apps to find other girls for one-night stands, even though I know I should not be doing this, as it is wrong, not fair on my current partner. I'm sorry about the long email. It's just I'm so confused right now and could really do with your wisdom right now. Best wishes, Jay. Oh, Jay, what a great, rich question. I have so much to say on this and I don't know where to begin. Yes, I do. Right at the beginning of the paragraph where you say, is it normal to find your girlfriend really hot in the beginning and then not so much at the end? Well, there is no normal, okay? There is no normal. There's a million situations that could occur, but I will say this to you. You're not alone. Yes, it happens. There's a few reasons for it. My guess is what happened is this. You found her hot in the beginning, but not like super hot. Like you found her physically attractive, but what ended up happening was her personality made her even more attractive. So you found her personality more attractive than anything, and it made her, average looks seem hot. But what happens is you date someone for a year, 6 months, maybe a year and a half, and you go through what's called the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase lasts anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half. This is your brain saying to you, be attracted to this woman, have lots of sex with her so you can have kids, mate, and stick around to help raise the baby. That is some evolutionary psychology for you, okay? So that's kind of a theory there. As you find your partner very attractive, especially when they're pregnant, by the way, something happens where the woman just is crazy, more beautiful to you. And that's another reason. It's like so you can stick around and help raise the baby. So here's what's happening is that you have succumbed to being really into her because of this honeymoon phase. And even though you're still into her, her personality, you find her trustworthy, all these great things. She's honest and genuine. See, that's the thing though. It sounds like something else died there because all you're saying, the only reason why you would stay with her is because she's honest, genuine, and trustworthy. Those are the only words you used. You didn't really say anything about she's funny, she's interesting, we have a good time together. So maybe we can assume that's the case, but those weren't the words that you were using. So what happened here is you were really into her and it kind of died out. There's a lot of different reasons. One, again, you went through a honeymoon period and you realized there wasn't enough there to sustain maybe your physical attraction for her, or maybe just the fact that you got to know her and you found out she wasn't as interesting and fun and the person that you thought she was. And now she's just kind of this shell of a person and she's just honest, genuine, and really cares for you. And that's kind of all you're going with here. So yeah, this is normal, but it's not like this is going to happen to any guy who gets into a relationship. I mean, of course, the honeymoon phase exists. You're going to be so into wanting to be with your partner and have sex with them all the time in the very beginning because it's so new, so fresh, right? It's that newness that kind of keeps you around and keeps you really excited and really horny and really attracted to her. So yeah, that does go down. However, it shouldn't go down that fast. It shouldn't go down to 1 year where in 1 year you're trying to look for one night stands and you're attempting to cheat on her. That's a little on the more extreme side where, again, what is normal? Yes, this happens from time to time, but it shouldn't be the case if you want to have a long-lasting relationship with her. So my advice to you on a very quick front is you gotta move on. You got to move on and break up with her as fast as possible. Because let me tell you something. When this happens, when you start to just be so not sexually attracted to your partner to the point where you're tempted to cheat, this ain't getting any better, my friend. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. You're going to have which you already have, a wandering eye, which is, you looking at other women and looking on dating apps and probably turning your head every 5 seconds when you see even a remotely cute girl walking down the street. And again, it is normal to be attracted to other people while you're in a relationship, but it's not so healthy if it's getting to the point where you're going on dating apps and you're tempted to cheat, right? So we'll come back to that in a second. I just want to kind of go over more of for you guys who were listening who are like, what is this going to happen to me? Like, how do I prevent this? Well, here's the thing. You need to have the whole package. You need to be very physically attracted, which again, I'm questioning if this guy really was. It shouldn't die down that much. It's rare to go to such a 180. It can if the girl's a bitch or she's a bad girlfriend, and her personality just sucks or she becomes a terrible person. She will go down an attractive level, but that's not happening here with this guy. So I just have to say that I don't think he was really that super sexually attracted to her from the beginning. I just don't think so. So you want to find someone who you're very sexually attracted to, very interested in physically, and also the personality to boot, right? So you want it all. Here's the other thing. You got to understand, if you're going into a monogamous relationship and you want to get to the point where you guys are going to get married and spend a life together and have kids, if that's the thing, eventually you will be with a woman who is over 40, over 50, over 60, and so on. You have to be okay with that. Here's some good news. As you get older, you do tend to find women in your age range still attractive. Of course, you might look at if you're 60 years old, you might look at a 30-year-old and be like, wow, she's beautiful, she's hot, 25-year-old. But you do end up finding women attractive. I don't know the reason for that, by the way. It's the same reason why, and I hope to God this is true. If you're like 25 years old and you see a 15-year-old, you're saying to yourself, oh, that girl's so young. Like, you're not attracted to a 15-year-old when you're 25. If you are, that could be an issue. But as a 15-year-old, well, you're very attracted to a 15-year-old, right? And when you're 15 years old and you look at a 30-year-old, you're like, ugh, they're kind of old. It's kind of weird, right? But when you're 30, you're very attracted to 30. So you see what I'm saying here? My point is as you get older, you do tend to stay attracted to women in your age range. So that's the good news. But also, you got to understand that sexual attraction could, well, it basically will kind of go up and down. You're never going to be as sexually attracted to your partner as you were in the beginning, okay? But that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're screwed and like, okay, it's going to all be so downhill after a year and a half to the honeymoon period. No, you can still be very sexually attracted to your partner. It's just never going to be as high as the beginning, okay? Maybe you'll get there like from time to time, but it won't be as steady. And again, there's exceptions. I'm sure people listening to this might be like, well, that's not true. I was in a relationship and for 4 years, 5 years, I was always, and yeah, okay, sure, there's exceptions. I'm just giving you the generality here, right? The general situation is it's probably never going to be as high. That's not a bad thing. It's just the name of the game here. But for you, Jay, we're on a whole different level. You did a 180. You're telling me you're just not sexually attracted to her at all. And it's only been a year. So something died. Whether you were never really physically sexually attracted to her that much to begin with, or your relationship is boring, or here's the other thing, and this is for you guys out there. Or Jay, I don't know, man, you're like 22 years old and you realize that you haven't sowed your wild oats, so to speak. And this happens for guys, is that, they're still like into their partner, but then it kind of dies out because you realize, well, you haven't really been with that many women. You haven't had that many experiences. So maybe you feel like you're missing out. Maybe you feel like you want to have more sexual experiences. Maybe you desire that. So that's something to think about too. That could be the case also. A lot of guys who end up not listening to podcasts like these and learning dating advice kind of settle down into something, and they settle into something and they do find their partner attractive, but then they realize, man, they're 30 years old or even 40 years old, maybe even 25 years old, and they just haven't really had many sexual experiences. And this can be hard on a man. Okay, so don't worry, you're not weird. You're completely normal if this is the case. If you're, however old you are and you're like, man, I've only, had sex with like one or two girls. I've only been in like one relationship. I never really gave myself a chance to go out there and enjoy dating, enjoy sex with different types of women. So maybe that's something that you want to try. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're in a relationship, I'm not telling you to break up with your current partner to do that. But what I am saying is if you've ever felt that, that's normal. And if it ever gets to the point where that is a scratch that needs to be itched so bad that it's tearing you apart inside and it's affecting your current relationship, this might not be the relationship for you. You don't want to have her sitting there being so into and attracted to you when you're just, well, like you, Jay, you're looking at apps for one-night stands. You say, even though I know I shouldn't be doing this, it's not fair to my current partner. That's your words. And I agree, it's not fair. So here's some wisdom for you. Break up with her immediately. This is not going to get better. She deserves someone who is going to be into her, sexually attracted to her, and not looking at apps and looking at other women and tempting themselves to cheat. She deserves to be with someone who is very sexually attracted to her. Okay, so give her a break here and get rid of her. Let her free. Let her go find a good guy. I'm not saying you're not a good guy, but I just mean a person that's a good fit. Good for you that you haven't cheated yet. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. Now, also, you got to understand here is that you're saying, I'm not going to find a woman who's going to be as honest or genuine, that really cares about me as much as her, who's trustworthy. You will. You will. It's not easy, but you will. It's not easy to find the quote perfect girlfriend. Those don't exist, but it does take some time to sift through and find a woman that's a good match for you, that you're also sexually attracted to, that you're also learning about and seeing that they're honest, genuine, and trustworthy. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time. But that's why you date. That's why I have this podcast, to send the message to men. Date. Approach a lot of women. Find the things that are important to you and go after it and find that woman. So, yeah, it's not easy, but that's not a reason to stay with someone, because you'll find a woman that's honest. You'll find a woman that's trustworthy. You'll find another woman that cares about you. Guys get so caught up in that, but she really likes me. She really cares about me. Well, of course she does. She's attracted to you, maybe in love with you. She's in a relationship with you. She does. Most women will that you find that you're dating. Right? Like that's not that uncommon. Really, it's not. You can find that. It also sounds like maybe you have some low self-esteem here potentially. If you're like, this girl cares about me a lot. It's like, well, dude, you'll get another woman that's going to be caring about you. That's the easy part. The hard part is, how do you find a woman who's trustworthy? And also, even harder, is a woman who has the match, right? The woman who has the 3 non-negotiables, the 3 things that are really important to you. I talk about this, by the way, in my book, Magnetic. If you don't have a copy of that, highly suggest you get it. It's like $12 on Amazon. Check it out, Magnetic. And I go over in chapter 8 all about how to find that perfect girl for you, the perfect 10 for you, using the 3 non-negotiables. I also have some podcast episodes on it, so I'm not going to get into it on this one, but just understand that you need to find someone who's got the whole package here. And this girl does not have the whole package for you. Jay, let her go. If you're looking to find that whole package woman, if you want to learn how to find the woman that's going to be trustworthy, genuine, honest, care about you, and also someone that you're really sexually attracted to, let me help you do that. Stop wasting your time. If you can't go out there and do this, if you're not going out there, you're not making anything happen, don't waste your time anymore. Work with me. Let me help you. Go to coachedbytrip.com. We can help you get to that point where you are successfully meeting and attracting the women that you really, really desire and not get stuck in a situation like Jay. But Jay, this is a good learning lesson for you, and also a learning lesson for all the other guys out there who are listening. Just to understand that it's complicated, right? It's like you can find a woman who's really hot and you're really into, or you think you are, and then all of a sudden a year later, you're like, I'm not into it anymore, right? So bad sign. Gotta leave her, unfortunately. Do it nice. Tell her that, I should do a whole episode on this, even though I know I've done it before. Just not a lot of guys have this situation where they need to learn how to gracefully break up with a woman. It's not a big issue. But if you're going to do it gracefully. Tell her that you're just not feeling the connection anymore. That you're not feeling the sexual connection anymore. Don't tell her that you think she's ugly, you're not attracted to her, but you're not feeling the connection that you guys once had. You don't know where it went. It's just not there anymore. So you want to say something like that. Okay. All right. That's what I got for you today. Hope that helped you. And I hope you learned something, whether or not you're in a relationship. But let's go out there and find girlfriends that you're physically attracted to and emotionally attracted to. Let's get the whole package here. That's what I want for you. All right? See you on the next episode. Here's the 300.